Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the channel to recap Smackdown from tonight, the go-home show before Saturday night's main event tomorrow. So we're just gonna get right into it here. Start with the card, go over it. What's happening? So obviously tonight's episode, well, obviously Happy Halloween, I guess. Even though it's now 12 a.m., so it's now November. But it's Halloween, but that doesn't mean there will be any treats for the men and women of WWE. So they'll so they still have to head to the ring and do battles like every other week. So here's a look at what WWE advertised for the show. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, they have a contract signing. Jade Cargill addresses her actions last week. Alexa faced Nia Jax. Oh yes, like we haven't seen that before. And Carmelo Hayes versus Kit Wilson. Let's start off with the show here. Ilya Dragunov versus Nathan Frazier. So start off, Stratton came to the ring and called out Cargill for a fight, but Nick Aldis came to the ring and said the doctors haven't cleared her yet. Cargill came out and taunted the champion a little to get under her skin while security kept them apart during a break and a few segments. So yeah, Ilya Dragunov was set to put the U.S. title on the line in another open challenge. They're still doing these U.S. Open challenges. He defends against Nathan Frazier. Before it could have begun, Tommaso Ciampa came out and said Frazier doesn't deserve a shot. Ilya told him to take a walk, which he did, but he did it too easily, so it felt like he would lead to something. Frazier tried to get the advantage immediately with the running knee, but the Mad Dragon was right back to his feet. Put him in the corner for some chops. This was an interesting, exciting matchup because it felt so fresh. These two only had two previous encounters in NXT UK and one in NXT. So this is our first match on the main roster together. You know, it was fast-paced. Match also had some stiff strikes and fun spots. This worked very well together to put on a great show. At one point, Frazier almost won with the Phoenix Splash, but wasn't enough to keep the champion down. Dragunov was able to retain with a clean victory, which was surprising after it looked like they were setting up for Ciampa to interfere. He showed up after the match to take Frazier, though, but anyways, this was a pretty damn good match, for sure. First time they wrestled on the main roster. So a good U.S. title open challenge there to open the show. So, you know, Frazier somehow moves at superhuman speed sometimes. It's like, he's so explosive, fun to watch. And they still have such good movesets as well. R-Truth was dressed as Santa Claus and handed out some candy backstage. Man, what happened to him being a serious character? They never went anywhere with that. The video package for Dragunov was great. They had a good video package. And Jade Cargill was dressed as the Punisher when she arrived, continuing her Marvel references in her outfits. But then she showed up looking like Catwoman from Batman Returns when the show was live. Whew, Jade. Anyways, let's move on here. Kit Wilson versus Carmelo Hayes. So Elton Prince is still out with an injury, so Wilson had to go it alone. What? What is his English here? He had to go at it alone when he took on Hayes in a singles match this week. Wilson took control early by throwing his vest at Hayes before rushing him in the corner. He maintained his position for a little while, but once Hayes regained his composure, he began unloading on him. The Miz showed up and sent Hayes into the ring post while the rest was distracted, but Wilson was unable to capitalize on the moment. Hayes hit the first 48. First 48? Talking about the TV show, First 48? Right after for the win. This was short and predictable, but it had its moments. You know, the Miz left his former protege downed after hitting him with his finisher. So this feud is far from over still. I mean, this was fine for what it was. And it continues the Miz and Carmelo Hayes' feud. So, there's that. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. So, you know, their former partners and tag team champions found themselves as opponents. So, Jax hit Bliss from behind as she was handing her title to Charlotte to take control right out of the gate. Started throwing Bliss from corner to corner and hitting her with splashes against the turnbuckle. Bliss screamed in her face and tried to fight back, but Jax put her on her back with one shot. It took some time before Alexa started getting real offense going. Bliss defeated Nia Jax. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, watches her partner was taking a lot of punishment. Jax came close with a Samoan drop. Bliss was able to kick out at two. This Match followed the usual David versus Goliath formula. Jax was as dominant as ever, and Bliss made for the perfect underdog. Thanks to distraction from Flair, Bliss was able to steal the win by knocking Jax off the middle rope and pinning her before she knew what was happening. So, this was fine as well. There were several segments involving Utah University throughout the show, which was something. Sami Zayn asked Aldis to be in the Motor City Machine Guns corner tonight, but he was not medically clear, so Aldis told him to sit this one out. And though Corey Graves was really pushing with the hyperbole on commentary, really pushing it tonight. I mean, I can't fault him too much. I mean, I do that a lot too. The MFT versus Motor City Machine Guns. So the next match was Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin take on JC Mateo and Tama Tonga. In a tag match that was set up earlier in the show during a backstage segment. Mateo uses significant size and power to take control immediately. This was a decent tag match, but with a little more time it could have been much better. Felt when they were just going and ended. Phoenix and Nakamura came out to get some revenge for last week's loss, but they didn't fare any better. They got took out by the MFT. The MFT defeated Motor City Machine Guns. Graves referenced Keith Lee being called Bearcat Lee. It was quick and might not have been obvious, but yeah, he referenced Keith Lee being called Bearcat Lee. When Solo Cole eventually wrestles again, he should use the same face paint as the rest of the group, because it looks cool. It's a cool look that stands out, I guess. Like, it looks cool. And Chelsea Green's Snow White gear. Anyways. But yeah, this was fine, I guess. A decent tag match. Could have been better if I had more time. Then you had the contract signing. So the show ended with the contract signing involving McIntyre and Rhodes, which Aldis was after it overseeing an attempt to keep the peace. Rhodes signed on the dotted line immediately, but McIntyre said he couldn't sign it because it was lopsided. Where's it at? What is happening? Aldis said it was a standard championship contract and threatened to take away the title shot completely. McIntyre called his bluff and said to get someone else as he attempted to leave. Rhodes asked him to sit down and said he knew what McIntyre wanted. He confirmed that McIntyre wanted to add a stipulation to the contract stating if Rhodes was counted out or DQ'd, he would lose the title. The American Nightmare said he was fine with it, so McIntyre signed. They talked a little trash to each other. Made this a decent promo thing, but it was also incredibly predictable and felt like a lot of segments Rhodes has had like this. Like, I like Cody, but I want to see McIntyre win the championship. Because why run this match back again if McIntyre's just going to lose? It would make him look like a complete jobber to just lose again. Because the match at WrestlePalooza wasn't anything great. So, they need to make a good match here and have McIntyre win. Because what's the point of giving him another title shot just to lose? It makes him look weak. So, WWE usually takes advantage of episodes on holidays and makes the show feel like it has a theme. This year's Halloween Smackdown just had a few costumes and that was it. And the show, usually go-home shows are better than this to me. But we got the usual 4 matches we got every week from the Blue Brand, but only one of them stood out especially. The counter between Dragunov and Frazier wasn't just the best match on the card, but it was the best match best WWE match we saw all week. They worked together to put on an entertaining fight that left both men with some bruises they'll be feeling tomorrow. It was the kind of match that could stand next to any pay-per-view bout and hold its own, but I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. I kind of expected more from a go-home show because they usually have good go-home shows. But yeah, Saturday night's main event tomorrow. I think they have, 4 title matches. The titles, the only champion I want to see retain is Dominic. I only want to see Jade win just because, I don't think she's the best, but they've made her a heel, and it would make her look really weak to turn heel and lose again, cleanly. So, I love Tiffany, don't get me wrong. It would just kind of look stupid to have Jade turn heel and lose clean again, when you've already had her lose clean. I want to see Drew win the championship just so he can get another championship run. So we can have a different champion. What's the other title match? I want to see Dominic retain for sure. I forgot what the other title match is. But yeah, there's 3 or 4, I think 4 matches for Saturday night's main event. So yeah. But yes, it's a go-home show. That's my thoughts. Leave a like, subscribe for more. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Peace.